the one with the first big one, I should say. The one with Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman. I think the big reason why I like Superman movies is I like Lex Luthor so much. I love that character. I really do. It's just it's fascinating the conflict between the two characters, the brains versus brawn thing. I just hope they don't blow up Air Force One again. How many movies have we seen in the last, I don't know, 6 months, a year, that they've blown up Air Force One? You got the first Superman movie, Superman Returns, the middle movie that they showed, the Return of Superman. He saves Air Force One, I think. No, he's 747, and then the Air Force One is blown up in this new movie that's coming out. Air Force One Down or something like that. There was a kidnapping aboard Air Force One. Iron Man was in a fight aboard Air Force One. Olympus Has Fallen, Air Force One. How many times they got to blow that thing up? I mean, how many Air Force Ones do we got? That's kind of expensive, don't you think? I mean, the poor president, he's always under threat. It just seems like there's an awful lot of focus on Air Force One. It's like all the writers are sitting around a table and we go, well, what can we have Superman do? Well, we could have him fix a bridge. No, we could have him put out a nuclear fire. No. Let's get him aboard Air Force One again. Yeah, it's like let's blow up Air Force One. I don't know why that, and you would think that they wouldn't do that a lot, right? Because the Hollywood is mostly liberals. So it's like maybe they're trying to show how great Air Force One is. I don't know. It's just an odd thing. Anyway, it's a Superman movie. I'm looking forward to seeing that. A couple years ago, I wrote a book called The American Way, and it was about the intro introduced itself why Superman got it wrong, because at the time of the book's publishing, there was a comic book, a Superman comic that showed Superman giving up his American citizenship, which I thought was really stupid. And the plot revolved around Superman getting himself involved in some conflict in the Middle East, and there was some blowback on America, so he gives up America. Well, it was just stupid. I mean, it really was. It was just a way to take a shot at America. That's all it was. When you read the comic book, there's this thin veneer of how he's trying to protect America by giving up his citizenship, but it was really stupid. Well, anyway, it prompted me to title the book that. And it really isn't a book about Superman, but it's about some of the myths that liberals like to tell about America. For instance, I'll just give you one example out of the book. The myth that we stole Mexico from the Mexicans, which is totally preposterous. And I talk about the blood that was shed at the Alamo and, why we did what we did and really what the situation was. The truth of the matter is the territory that was known as Texas, it was the area from the Texas all the way east through Arizona, through the Gadsden Birches and stuff, which led to the Treaty of Lupe Hidalgo. I think that's the name of it. The reason we ended up with all that land was because the Mexican government had invited Americans to settle Texas. The reason they had invited Americans to settle Texas, they weren't English colonists who settled Texas were not illegal immigrants. They were specifically invited by the Mexican government to settle that territory. And the reason they did was because the Indians, the Native Americans, were so hostile to the Mexicans, because the Mexicans at that time, they were very, connected with the original colonial Spain. They were a colony of Spain. They are not, by the way, they're not native people. The Mayans and the Aztecs were. The Mexicans today are a combination of the people that lived here and the Spanish that colonized. So don't tell me that they have a right to it. So anyway, they invited American colonists to settle because they felt that all these American settlers would provide a buffer between what is now known Mexico and the Native American tribes of the American Southwest. They were cannon fodder. They were brought in to Texas as cannon fodder for the Mexicans. And when the Mexican government saw Americans settling the land and becoming quite wealthy on it and developing the land, that land suddenly became real valuable. So the Mexican government, Santa Anna, said, well, we want the land back. Well, we're going to impose all these rules and restrictions and taxes, and gave the Texican settlers no representation in Mexican government. That's why the war was fought. They fought it because they wanted freedom. They weren't fighting wasn't a land grab. So don't let anyone tell you. And it goes into detail in the book about the myth of that's really Native American lands, that's really Mexico's lands. It's not. These settlers were invited there by the Mexican government, who had legal claim to it. And at the end of the war, we paid the Mexican government for the land too. We didn't just grab it. Okay.